Wait, before you pick up your phone, before the emails flood in, before the algorithm hijacks your brain, just stop. Because this one thing you do, right here in the first 30 seconds of your day, decides everything that comes after it. Peace or panic, power or passivity, discipline or distraction, survival or something greater. You know that feeling when you wake up and already feel behind, like life is sprinting and you're still standing at the starting line, scrolling through someone else's highlight reel. You tell yourself you'll meditate, journal, hit the gym, but the next thing you know, you're 22 minutes deep into videos you don't even care about. You're reacting before you've even decided who you're going to be today. And that's the trap. It doesn't start with chaos, it starts with a decision to pick up your phone or to pick up your mind. Marcus Aurelius ruled 60 million people. He faced plague, betrayal, war, the death of his children. But every morning before the empire, before the chaos, he asked himself 5 questions. Not for motivation, not to feel good, but to remember who he was. Because even emperors feel lost when they wake up. You don't have to be a Roman emperor to understand this. You just have to be a man who's tired of waking up anxious, a man who's ready to take back control, a man who doesn't want to look in the mirror and see someone running on autopilot. And if you're anything like me, you've had mornings where you feel like a shell. You pour the coffee, check your messages, go through the motions, but something in you feels like it's slipping, like you're living someone else's life. That's why this matters. What you say to yourself in the first few minutes of your morning isn't just talk, it's code. Code for your brain, code for your nervous system, code for your day. It sets your emotional thermostat before the world even touches you. And 97% of people, they're installing malware first thing in the morning and they don't even know it. One man wakes up and checks his notifications. The other wakes up and checks in with himself. One begins the day on someone else's terms. The other starts by remembering what he stands for. So, let me ask you something. If you had 5 truths, 5 phrases, 5 mental weapons you could arm yourself with every morning before your feet hit the floor, would you use them? Would you give yourself a fighting chance? Would you show up for yourself before the world starts demanding you show up for everything else? Because these 5 things I'm about to share with you, they aren't gimmicks. They're ancient, they're tested, and they're what some of the most disciplined, grounded, powerful men in history have lived by. They're how you stop being reactive and start being relentless, stoic, present, dangerous in the best way. So, before we go any further, put the phone down, take one deep breath, and remember, you get to decide how this day begins. Let's begin the way Marcus did, with the mind, with intention, with the truths that make you unbreakable. 5 things to tell yourself every morning. This is how you become unstoppable. If you want to support what we're building here, videos that help men reclaim their mornings, their peace, their power, hit the subscribe button. It's free. But what you gain from it, that's priceless. Because if this video does what I think it will, it's going to become part of your morning ritual. So join the tribe, lock in, and let's build something better together. The truth about modern mornings. Let me ask you something. How do you start your morning? Not how you wish you started it, how you actually do. Be honest. You wake up, you grab your phone, and before you've even stretched, before your feet touch the ground, you're on someone else's timeline, someone else's crisis, someone else's life. And you think that's harmless, that it's just checking in. It's not. It's a digital ambush. 89% of Americans check their phone within 10 minutes of waking up, and most of them do it in the first 3 minutes. That first hit of dopamine, the red badge, the reels, the messages, it spikes cortisol by up to 50%. It hijacks your nervous system before you've even had a chance to breathe. You didn't choose your thoughts today. They were chosen for you. And then you wonder why you feel distracted, why your thoughts race, why you're 35 and exhausted before 10 a.m. It's not just you. 70% of men in the U.S. report feeling daily stress. 1 in 3 struggle with anxiety, burnout, or emotional numbness. But they don't talk about it because no one's taught them how. So they carry it, quietly, heavily. They slap on a face, sip the caffeine, and push through, thinking that's what strength looks like. But deep down, they know something's off. Not broken, not weak, just misaligned, out of sync with themselves. We live in a culture that trains men to wake up anxious. Social media, email, deadlines, debt, the scroll, the likes, the loop. You're a grown man running on toddler-level impulse. Not because you lack willpower, but because your brain has been trained to react, to compare, to chase noise. One man wakes up and checks in with himself, the other checks Instagram. One man builds a mind, the other borrows one from strangers. And after a while you forget how to think clearly. You forget what peace feels like. You lose your own voice in the noise. I know this because I was that man, successful on the surface, calm in public. But inside, I was at war with my own mind every morning. I'd scroll, I'd spiral, I'd start my day from the bottom of a digital well and spend the next 16 hours trying to climb out. And then, I stopped. I stopped outsourcing my mind. I stopped letting the world decide who I would be that day. And I started building something else. You see, your phone, it's just a tool. But your mind, that's the weapon. And like any weapon, it dulls if you don't sharpen it. It rusts, it weakens, it turns against you. These 5 phrases I'm about to give you, they aren't motivational quotes. They aren't meant to hype you up. They're mental architecture. They're how you remember who you are before the world tries to tell you who to be. They come from men who faced real chaos. Emperors, soldiers, survivors. Men who had no luxury to be soft, no time to be scattered. Only clarity, only discipline, only purpose. If you start your morning with these 5 truths, you stop reacting, you stop scrolling, you start responding. Like a man who's already chosen who he'll be. You don't owe the world your attention first. You owe yourself your mind. And this is how you reclaim it. Part 1. I can't control what happens, but I can control how I respond. There's a moment in every man's life where the illusion collapses. You realize you can't control everything. You can't control the weather. You can't control what people say about you. You can't control betrayal, loss, failure, or the next curveball life throws your way. And if you're not prepared, those things will break you. But there was a man who lived this reality in the most brutal way possible. His name was James Stockdale. In 1965, he was shot down over Vietnam, captured, beaten, thrown into a prison camp. He spent 8 years as a prisoner of war. They broke his leg, crushed his face, tortured him endlessly, and yet he survived, not just physically, but mentally, morally, spiritually. How? How do you survive 8 years in hell without losing yourself? Stockdale credits one thing: Stoicism. He had studied Epictetus, a Roman slave who became one of the greatest Stoic teachers in history. And in that tiny, dark cell, with no idea if he'd ever see home again, he didn't ask, "Why me?" He told himself, "I can't control what happens, but I can control how I respond." And that idea became his shield, his sanity, his structure in a place designed to break structure. He would sit in solitary confinement, broken bones, bleeding, and repeat Epictetus in his mind, "The last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." And here's the wild part. Neuroscience has caught up to this. When you choose your response, when you pause before reacting, you activate your prefrontal cortex. That's the rational, wise part of your brain. It overrides the amygdala, the survival part that makes you panic, lash out, or spiral. That pause, it's a neurological pattern interrupt. It breaks the cycle. It gives you space, and in that space, you build who you are. This is what Stoics call cognitive distance. It's the ability to step back from the moment and ask, what's actually happening here, and how do I want to respond? Because you've seen both types of men. One gets cut off in traffic and explodes. The other takes a breath and keeps driving. Same event, different mind. Which one are you? So here's your first phrase. The first thing to tell yourself every morning. I can't control what happens, but I can control how I respond. Say it in the mirror, write it on your wall, etch it into your nervous system, because when life punches you, and it will, this is your anchor. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not every fight is worth entering. And not every emotion is true just because it feels loud. So here's your practice. Tomorrow morning, before the coffee, before the news, before the noise, stand in front of the mirror and say it. I control how I respond. Chaos isn't my enemy. It's my training partner. Say it like you mean it, because your mind is listening and it's waiting for instructions. Most men were never taught this. We were taught to react, to get angry, to get loud, to suppress, to explode, to pretend we're okay when we're not. But real power is choosing your words, choosing your tone, choosing who you become under pressure. So, here's your challenge. Next time your boss criticizes you, or your partner snaps at you, or your plan falls apart, pause. Take one breath and say to yourself, I choose how I respond. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours. That space between stimulus and response, that's where your power is. James Stockdale had nothing, no comfort, no freedom, no timeline. But he had one thing, a mind that belonged to him. And that is how you survive the fire without becoming ashes. Part 2. Everything is training for my mind. Pain, pressure, delay, discomfort. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding them. They see resistance and they shrink. They hit a wall and they quit. They see a problem and call it bad luck. But the Stoic sees something else. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. He didn't just write about obstacles, he lived inside them. He ruled Rome during one of its darkest periods, a 15-year-long plague, revolts at the borders, famine, political betrayal, the death of his children. And yet, in the middle of all that chaos, he ruled with clarity, with reason, with composure, and he left behind one of the most powerful ideas in human history. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What he's saying is simple and devastatingly powerful. The thing you think is stopping you is actually the thing that's shaping you. That broken relationship, that dead-end job, That betrayal, failure, sickness, flat tire, late train, it's not a curse, it's curriculum. Life is not punishing you, it's preparing you. And this isn't just ancient philosophy. It's backed by modern neuroscience. A University of Wisconsin study found that when people simply framed stress as training, something to be mastered rather than feared, their dopamine levels increased, their resilience strengthened, and their mortality risk dropped. Let me say that again. Reframing stress helped people live longer. Navy SEALs call this stress inoculation. They train in brutal, uncomfortable environments on purpose, not because they like pain, but because they want to be calm when it counts. They don't pray for comfort, they train for chaos. And that's the same thing Marcus was doing, not in a gym, but in his mind. So here's your second phrase. The second thing to tell yourself every single morning: every challenge I face is a mental gym. I'm not being punished, I'm being prepared. Say it out loud. Say it like you believe it. Say it until you do. Look, I get it. You didn't ask for the setbacks. You didn't plan for the pain, but you're here now, and that means it's part of your curriculum. You can resist it, or you can train with it. Let's do something right now. Think back to yesterday. What was the toughest moment you faced? Maybe someone disrespected you. Maybe something didn't go your way. Maybe you doubted yourself. Hold that moment. Don't run from it. Just look at it. And now, reframe it. That wasn't life trying to crush you. That was life giving you a chance to train. What did that moment teach you? What part of you got stronger because of it? Patience, restraint, clarity, boundary setting. Because here's the truth. Weak people run from resistance. Strong men train with it. Your boss snapped at you? That's emotional regulation training. Your car broke down? That's adaptability practice. Someone ghosted you? That's a lesson in detachment. It's all training, if you let it be. This is how you become mentally bulletproof, not by avoiding life's punches, but by using every hit to sharpen your stance. The obstacle becomes the way, always. So here's what I want from you. For the next 24 hours, every time something doesn't go your way, every time life throws you a curveball, say one word: training. Not why me, not this sucks, just training. Say it in traffic. Say it when your phone dies. Say it when things fall apart, because in that one word, you take back your mind. Part 3, I am not owed anything, I am grateful for everything. There's a dangerous story we've all been sold, that life should be fair, that people should treat us well, that success, love, or peace are things we deserve just for showing up. But what happens when the world doesn't give you what you feel you're owed? What happens when it forgets you, or takes from you, or never shows up at all? Some men grow bitter, others grow grateful. Let me take you to hell. Real hell. 1944, Auschwitz. Frozen mud, no food, no name, just a number tattooed into your skin. This was Viktor Frankl's reality. A young psychiatrist, a father, a husband, thrown into a Nazi death camp, stripped of everything he ever loved. And yet, in that place where millions died, where hope was currency and most couldn't afford it, Frankl chose something radical. He chose gratitude. He said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. He looked at the men next to him, starving, beaten, hopeless. And he realized the one thing no one could take from them: their mindset, their choice to be more than just victims of their suffering. Look, no, you're not in a death camp. You're not being hunted or starved. But that doesn't mean you don't suffer. Your pain is still real. The betrayal, the loneliness, the invisible weight. You carry it every day. And in that space between what you expected and what life delivered is your chance to choose. You can choose resentment, or you can choose responsibility. You can curse what's missing, or you can give thanks for what remains. And the data backs it up. Studies show that practicing gratitude consistently reduces depression by 35%. It increases dopamine, your brain's reward chemical. It improves sleep, immune strength, even heart health. In one study, men who journaled just 3 things they were grateful for each day showed higher optimism, more emotional resilience, and better sleep quality after only 21 days. But here's the catch. Gratitude isn't a feeling. It's a discipline. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you choose to build. And the most powerful gratitude comes from the man who knows he's owed nothing. So here's your 3rd morning mantra, and it might sting a little the first time you say it, but it will free you. No one owes me time. No one owes me love. No one owes me help, praise, or validation. I earn it, and I'm already grateful for what I do have. Say it again, slower. I am owed nothing, and yet I have so much. You have breath. You have a mind. You have a second chance this morning to do things a little better than yesterday. That's not small. That's sacred. So let's make this practical. Right now, think of 3 things you're grateful for. Not big stuff. Small. Real. Maybe it's clean water. A quiet moment. The way the sun hit your face on the walk to work. Or the fact that even with all you've been through, you're still standing. Got 3? Good. Now here's your next step. Identify one person, just one. You'll express that gratitude to today. Text them, call them, write it down. Don't wait. Don't scroll past. Tell them, you made an impact on me. I see it. I value it. Thank you. Because here's the paradox. The more gratitude you give, the more life gives you back. Viktor Frankl lost everything. His parents, his wife, his freedom, but not his mind, not his gratitude, not his sense of meaning. And he walked out of Auschwitz not as a broken man, but as a teacher, a light, a reminder to every man after him that suffering is not the end, and that gratitude is a weapon. So, tomorrow morning, before the emails, before the noise, tell yourself this: no one owes me anything, and I am grateful for everything. Because that's the mindset of a man who cannot be broken. If any part of this has spoken to you, if even one phrase shifted something inside you, pause for just a second and do 2 things. First, subscribe to this channel, not for numbers, not for vanity, but because I want to keep giving you real tools, not empty motivation, not dopamine hits, but grounded, tested ways to build a stronger, calmer, more focused mind. And second, hit the like button, not because it helps the algorithm, though it does, but because it tells me that you're in this, that you value this kind of content, and that you want more. To every new friend who just found this, welcome. And to the ones who've been here since the beginning, thank you. You're the reason this exists. Now breathe, and let's keep going. Part 4. I could die today, so I will live fully. We don't talk about death. We scroll past it, filter it, escape it. But death, whether we acknowledge it or not, never scrolls past us. And the Stoics knew this, that to live fully, you have to face the one truth you can't outrun. You're going to die. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but eventually, and possibly sooner than you think. Memento mori, Latin for remember you must die. It wasn't a threat. It was a compass. The Stoics didn't reflect on death to be grim. They did it to live with urgency, with clarity, with courage. They understood that remembering your mortality is not morbid. It's motivating. Steve Jobs said it best at Stanford's commencement speech. He said, "Remembering I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life." He didn't build Apple because he thought he had time. He built it because he knew he didn't. He understood that when you remember life is short, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. So here's the brutal truth. The average male in the US will live to about 73 and a half years. That's around 3,800 weeks. If you're 35 right now, you've burned through over half of them already. Think about that. Really think about it. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. Every moment you spend distracted, every argument you drag out, every dream you put off until later is a week, a day, a morning. You never get back. You don't need more time. You need more presence. You don't need more chances. You need more clarity about what matters most. So tomorrow when you wake up, before you check your phone, before the world grabs your mind, say this to yourself: this might be my last sunrise. I will not waste it. I will love harder, speak truer, and live braver. Let that hit. Now let's do something right now. Just 1 minute. Close your eyes, unless you're driving, and answer this question honestly. If today really was your last, what would you do differently? Who would you call and make things right with? What would you stop tolerating? What would you finally say out loud? What would you stop putting off? Let it surface. Don't run from it. This is your chance to adjust before it's too late. You are not promised next week. You are not promised tonight. You only have now. So stop sleepwalking. Stop delaying your life. Stop building castles in someday. Because one day, there won't be another later. There'll only be the things you did, and the ones you didn't. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." This isn't fear. This is freedom. To forgive, to create, to finally become the man you said you would be. Not tomorrow. Now. So write it down, say it again, memorize it. Make it part of your mental armor every morning. This could be my last day alive. I will not waste it. I will love harder, speak truer, and live braver. Part 5. I have everything I need to begin. There's this lie that most people never question. The lie goes, I'll start when I'm ready. When I have more time, more money, more support, more clarity. But the truth? You're already ready. You just don't believe it yet. There's a reason Navy SEALs say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because they know what most people don't. That courage doesn't come after comfort. It comes after commitment. And waiting for the fear to disappear, that's how dreams die. Look, you don't need another podcast episode. You don't need another inspirational quote. You don't need to organize your desk, or build the perfect system, or wait until you feel like it. You need to begin, messy, nervous, imperfect, but in motion. Here's the science. Your brain has a fear center called the amygdala. When you focus on what you lack, not enough skill, not enough certainty, not enough time, it triggers a survival response. Your brain pulls the emergency brake. It convinces you to stay still, stay safe, stay stuck. But when you switch your attention to what you already have, to what you can do right now, something changes. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decisions and planning, kicks in, and with it comes momentum. You don't need to be a Navy SEAL to live this way. You just need to stop waiting for permission. Because no one's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you're finally good enough now. You're finally ready." That's your job. So tomorrow morning, when you look in the mirror or just sit with your thoughts, say this out loud: "I'm already equipped. I don't need permission. I'm ready now." Say it again, until your body believes it more than your fear does. Now I want you to do something right now. Not next week, not after this video. Now. Think of one thing you've been procrastinating on, that conversation, that email, that habit, that thing you've kept telling yourself you'll get around to. You got it? Good. Now here's your challenge. Commit to 5 minutes of action on it today. Just 5. Because the hard part isn't doing the work, it's starting. And 5 minutes is all it takes to break through the wall. You'll never feel 100% ready. That's the point. Life favors the man who moves anyway. So stop building your identity around who you were and start building it around what you're willing to begin. Remember, you don't need to be fearless. You just need to start before you're fully ready. So say it one last time with me. And mean it. I have everything I need to begin. I don't need permission. I'm ready now. You've made it this far, which means something inside you is ready. Ready for more than just consuming information. Ready to live it. This isn't about theory anymore. This next section is about action, about building something, a mental framework you return to every single morning, a personal code. Let me show you what that code looks like in real life. Just 5 minutes. That's all you need. You wake up. You resist the pull to check your phone. You sit up. Put your feet on the ground. Take a breath. You remember who you're becoming. Then, one by one, you repeat the phrases that now live inside you. I control how I respond. Everything is training for my mind. I am not owed anything. I could die today. I have everything I need to begin. Each one a sharpened weapon. Not to impress the world, but to protect your mind. Here's the practice. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated. Just 5 minutes of presence, intention, and power. Minute 1. Mirror affirmations. Stand in front of the mirror. No phone, no music, just you. Look yourself in the eyes, and one by one, speak the 5 phrases aloud. Not with hype, not with forced positivity, but with truth. Feel the weight of the words. Not just what they mean, but who you're becoming by saying them. Minutes 2 and 3. Journaling. Now sit. Grab a pen. Open a notebook, not an app, and write these 3 prompts. 1. What am I training my mind for today? 2. What am I grateful for right now? 3. What one action will I take, even if I don't feel ready? You're not journaling for perfection. You're journaling for clarity. Because writing slows the mind down to the speed of truth. Minutes 4 and 5. Silent breathing. Now, just sit. No thinking, No fixing, just be. Close your eyes. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold. Breathe out through your mouth. Let the morning quiet settle into your bones. Let stillness speak to you louder than all the noise ever could. That's it. 5 minutes. 5 ancient principles. 1 mental reset. It won't make your problems disappear, but it will make you stronger than them. And over time, this little ritual becomes armor, not to protect you from life, but to help you walk straight into it, with poise, with clarity, and with purpose. You don't need more information. You need integration. You need rhythm. You need a code to live by when the world tries to pull you apart. So tomorrow morning, try this. Before the news, before the noise, and before the scroll. Just 5 minutes to meet your mind again. And watch what begins to change. And most men won't do this. Let's be honest. They'll nod their heads, maybe save the video, maybe write 1 line in a journal, and then they'll scroll. They'll get distracted. They'll go back to the noise, back to comparing, back to complaining, back to postponing the life they say they want. But not you. Because if you're still here, it means something in you is awake, something deeper than motivation, something that's done watching the same patterns play out over and over. You're not looking for hype. You're not chasing the next dopamine hit. You're building something, quietly, privately, powerfully. Now I want you to picture this. 30 days from now, you wake up, and for the first time in years you don't reach for your phone. You sit up and your mind isn't spinning, it's still. You speak the 5 phrases, not like a robot but like a man who means every word. You look in the mirror, and there's clarity behind your eyes. Not perfection, not fake confidence, but something real, earned. You didn't get here by accident. You got here by doing what most won't. You showed up, day after day, even when it wasn't convenient, even when your mind told you it didn't matter, but it did. It mattered more than you realized. Because those 5 minutes in the morning, they didn't just change your day, they changed your identity. So here's what I'm asking you to do. 30 days. No skips, no excuses, no I forgot or I'll start tomorrow. 5 minutes, every morning. You already know the phrases. You already know the method. All that's left is consistency. And when those 30 days are over, stand in front of the mirror. Look yourself dead in the eyes and ask one question. Who am I becoming? Because the real win isn't just less stress or more focus or better habits. The real win is becoming someone you respect, not just liked by others, but trusted by yourself. And when a man trusts himself, when he knows he can rely on his mind, his word, his presence, he becomes dangerous. In the best way possible. Dangerous to his old excuses. Dangerous to the distractions. Dangerous to the small version of himself that used to run the show. Because he's not reacting anymore. He's responding. With presence. With clarity. With purpose. So here's your line in the sand. 30 days. 5 minutes. 5 truths. 1 new identity. Let the world scroll. Let them sleep on themselves. You rise. Comment, I'm in, if you're starting today. Your future self is watching. Don't let him down. If this hit you in the chest, if something in you stirred, if you felt yourself sit up straighter, breathe deeper, or say, damn, that's me, then I ask one thing. Subscribe. Not to boost numbers, not to stroke an algorithm, but because this place is for men who are waking up, for men building something quietly from the inside out. And if you felt it, then you belong here. Share this with one man, not to prove anything, not to act like you've got it all figured out, but because you care. Because you remember what it felt like to wake up in chaos, to scroll through noise, to feel like every day was slipping through your fingers. This video isn't content. It's a wake-up call. It's a weapon for the mind. It's a mirror. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is hand that mirror to someone else. So, again, subscribe if this stirred something in you. Comment, "I'm in," if you're taking on the 30-day challenge. And if even one phrase today changed how you see your life, then imagine what 30 days could do. The morning is yours now. Own it. Don't waste another day living like you're already dead. You're not. You're just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.